Meeting of the Planning Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, members of the Planning Board. The first item on the agenda is a request to waive sidewalks within the subdivision Regency Homes in St. James. The applicant requests to waive 134 linear feet of sidewalk on Lake Avenue within the subdivision number 1163, map of Regency Homes at St. James. The final map of number 1163, map of Regency Homes at St. James, received conditional final approval for a 7-lot subdivision from the Planning Board on July 13th, 2016. The subdivision was bonded for 134 linear feet of sidewalk on the west side of Lake Avenue. At the time of subdivision approval, there were no sidewalks on Lake Avenue between Middle Country Road and Oak Street. Therefore, the Planning Board decided it was necessary for sidewalks to be installed along the subdivision. During the summer of 2019, the Town Highway Department installed new sidewalks on Lake Avenue from Middle Country Road to Oak Street and replaced the existing sidewalk north of Oak Street to Woodlawn. It appears the requirement of sidewalks are no longer necessary, and the Planning Department recommends sidewalks be waived within the subdivision. The Engineering, Highway, and Traffic Safety Departments have no objection to the request. The Planning Department offers the following resolution for the Board's consideration, whereas the Planning Board has considered the request of Frank Caridley to waive sidewalks within the subdivision number 1163, map of Regency Homes at St. James. Now therefore be it first resolved that the Planning Board hereby approves the waiver of sidewalks within the subdivision number 1163, map of Regency Homes at St. James.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I ask the board to follow the recommendation of the Planning Department. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes, sir. Please step up. And state your name and address for the record.
My name is Vincent Lombardi. I reside at that home in question, 104 Lake Avenue. And sure, Lombardi. I just want to say, whatever your decision is, my opinion is that it would seem for the town aesthetically unpleasant, I think, to just have a strip of sidewalk on that side of the street. You know, it would seem a little out of place. That's the only thing I wanted to say. So, thank you.
Questions from the board? 3, map of Regency Homes at St. James. I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. And in the matter of waiver of public improvements, number 11, map of Regency Homes at St. James, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The motion is adopted.
The next item's a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a lot area variance in the subdivision 1159 Mattern Country Estates. This matter involves a request from the Board of Zoning Appeals to the Planning Board to review and issue a recommendation regarding a variance currently pending before the BZA. That's case number 19131 for the above referenced subdivision. The yield of this property in strict compliance with the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations is 1 lot. The applicant is requesting the following variance to increase the yield of the subdivision to 2 lots. Lot 2, reduce the minimum lot area from 21,780 square feet to 20,280 square feet. The Planning Board has the authority to grant variances within subdivisions. However, pursuant to Section 322-30.4 of the zoning ordinance, the Planning Board does not have the authority to grant variances that would alter the density of a zoning district. This is a subdivision application to subdivide a 42,060 square foot parcel into 2 single-family lots. There's an existing dwelling fronting Hobson Avenue and a proposed dwelling fronting Heidi Court South. Both lots comply with the dimensional regulations of the R21 zoning district, with the exception of lot area for Lot 2. The applicant requests to reduce the minimum lot area by 1,500 square feet from 21,780 square feet to 20,280 square feet. Article 16, Section 277-6 of Town Law authorizes the BZA to grant area variances within a subdivision, but requires the BZA request a written recommendation from the planning board concerning the proposed variances. Town law does not describe the criteria that the planning board is supposed to use in developing a recommendation to the BZA. However, it seems likely that the recommendation should be based around the planning board's core mission regarding subdivision approval that centers on adequacy of access and infrastructure, and to evaluate whether the subject property can be used safely for building purposes without danger to health or peril from fire, flood, drainage, or other menace to neighboring properties or the public health, safety, and welfare. This recommendation does not examine the requested variances with respect to the 5 area variance criteria described in Section 267B of Town Law, as the BZA is tasked with evaluating the requested variances with respect to those criteria. It appears the adequacy of access and infrastructure on Heidi Court South is sufficient for the proposed dwelling. There is an existing P-shaped turnaround at the end of Heidi Court South that was approved by the planning board as part of the subdivision number 1107 SEJ Estates. Additionally, it is not anticipated that granting this variance will create any danger to the health or peril from fire, flood, drainage, or other menace to neighboring properties, or the public health, safety, and welfare. There are currently no drainage issues on Heidi Court South, and all subdivisions are required to retain stormwater runoff on site. Furthermore, a reduction in lot area to 20,280 square feet is not substantial and is generally in character with the surrounding half-acre lots. The Planning Department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the Planning Board has considered the request of the Board of Zoning Appeals for a recommendation regarding a variance associated with the subdivision number 1159, map of Mattern Country Estates. Now therefore be it first resolved that the Planning Board hereby recommends the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the lot area variance on Lot 2 within the subdivision number 1159A, map of Mattern Country Estates, subject to the following conditions. A, this recommendation pertains solely to the variance request before the Board of Zoning Appeals and not to the proposed lot layout, extent of regrading, building location, public improvements, or other aspects of subdivision design within the purview of the Planning Board. And B, nothing contained herein shall be construed or deemed as implicitly or explicitly approving or endorsing on the merits any subsequent request for approval of any subdivision for this property, whether or not the request arises out of any variances granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals for said property.
Okay, and the affidavit is in order? Okay, thank you. Mr. Tramarko?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tramarko. I represent the applicant. I ask the board to follow the recommendation of the Planning Department and recommend approval to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to be heard on this matter? Are there any questions from the board? In the matter of number 1159A, map of Mattern Country Estates, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. The hearing is closed. And in the matter of Board of Zoning Appeals recommendation number 1159A, map of Mattern Country Estates, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion is adopted.
Thank you.
Now, do you want me to just
Yeah.
do that? Okay, then, I guess I can, I
Yeah,
like,
so we have a withdrawal letter from, for Stonebridge, the waiver amendment request from David Altman, who is representing the applicant, requesting that it be withdrawn and removed from the planning board.
okay, thanks, Matt. The planning board is in receipt of this the applicant's May 7th, 2024 letter, and we acknowledge that their application is withdrawn.
last item is the adoption of minutes.
Okay, then I move that we adopt the minutes of the April 10th, 2024 meeting of the Planning Board.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion is adopted. And I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. The meeting is adjourned.